as ADC leaders and said it would not recognize any faction until the dispute. Factional leadership led by Tanimu Turaki SAN. The convention had been the subject of protracted legal dispute as it was conducted despite subsisting court orders restraining the party, with a federal high court earlier barring the exercise and the Court of Appeal upholding that decision. The appellate court affirmed that the convention was held in violation of valid judicial pronouncements, ruling that its outcome could not stand, prompting the Turaki-led faction to approach the Supreme Court to overturn the judgment and validate the executives. However, the Apex Court has now affirmed the earlier rulings and nullified the Ibadan Convention, effectively bringing to an end the legal tussle over the legitimacy of the factional leadership. President Bola Tinubu has nominated Joseph Tegbe as Minister of Power, subject to confirmation by the Senate, according to a statement signed by the President's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga. The statement said the nomination is expected to strengthen ongoing efforts to reform the power sector, enhance grid stability, and attract sustainable investment in line with the renewed hope agenda. Tegbe, an indigene of Oyo State and a Fuska, an economic reform expert with over 3 decades of experience, previously served as a senior partner and head of advisory services at KPMG African and currently coordinating the Nigerian-China Strategic Partnership. He has also been involved in regulatory and institutional reforms in the power sector, including engagements with the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission and the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading Company, while his nomination follows the resignation of former Minister Adebayo Adelabu. Gunmen who adopted several worshippers during an attack on a Christ Apostolic parish in Ekiti State have demanded a ransom of 1 billion naira for their release, as residents of Eda Oniyo in Ileje-Meje local government area remain gripped by fear and grief. The attackers reportedly stormed the church during a revival program around 7:15 p.m., opening fire for over 30 minutes before adopting 15 people into a nearby forest, while the incident also claimed the life of a visiting pastor. Families of the victims continue to await updates on rescue efforts as community leaders call for improved security presence and urge the state government to consider suspending evening programs and late-night gatherings to prevent further attacks. In response, the Ekiti State Commissioner of Police, Michael Falade, visited the community and ordered the deployment of a joint security team for bush combing operations, assuring residents of ongoing rescue efforts, while the traditional ruler, Oba Julius Oladipo Owodola, condemned the attack and called for strengthened security. The Oyo State Police Command has commenced an investigation into an incident at Moniya in Ibadan, which led to the death of a motorcyclist and the destruction of a police facility, according to a statement by the Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Anyolade Olayinka. Preliminary reports indicate that 2 officers attached to the Kara police outpost were allegedly carrying out an unauthorized stop-and-search operation when they intercepted a 35-year-old motorcyclist, Sani Salisu, who later developed what appeared to be an epileptic seizure and was confirmed dead at Modupe Hospital in Akinyele. The development sparked tension in the area as some aggrieved individuals acting on unverified information attacked the Kara police outpost and set parts of the facility ablaze, destroying motorcycles and a patrol vehicle, while a police officer sustained severe burns. The police command says reinforcements were deployed to restore normalcy and the deceased deposited at mortuary for autopsy, while the Commissioner of Police, Abimbola Ayodeji Olubenga, has ordered the arrests of the officers involved and directed a thorough investigation to determine the exact cause of death and ensure justice is served. Meanwhile, the Oyo State Police Command has arrested 16 suspected cultists and recovered arms during an operation at the Polytechnic Ibadan, according to a statement by the police public relations officer, DSP Anyola Diolainka. The arrest followed credible intelligence that members of the notorious Aye confraternity were planning a meeting within the institution, prompting the Commissioner of Police, Abimbola Olubenga, to lead a team of operatives after obtaining approval from school authorities. 16 suspects comprising 14 males and 2 females were apprehended at the venue, with preliminary investigations indicating that some were already on the command's watch list for alleged involvement in murder cases and court-related activities across the state. The police command says investigations are ongoing to uncover the full extent of the suspect operations and to apprehend other fleeing accomplices linked to the group. We shall now take our first commercial break. Please stay with us.
Super Malt Multivitamin Active Teens. Super Malt Multivitamin Active Teens. Shine on.
With Nivea Dry Deo, you can keep moving forward in life with confidence. Nivea Dry Deo. Derma 72-hour active protection against sweat and odor with 0% alcohol to prevent irritation. Stay dry and fresh all day long. Skin is for moving forward, Nivea is for skin. Your favorite Nivea Deo, now in a smaller pack size.
Thank you for staying tuned. The Central Bank of Nigeria has introduced new guidelines on the bank verification number set to take effect from May 1st, with changes expected to impact how millions of Nigerians access and secure their bank accounts. The move is aimed at curbing fraud and reducing customer frustration. Awau Ibrahim reports on what bank customers need to know, and a report is presented by Olamiposi Ishola.
The new policy introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria on the bank verification number is designed to strengthen account security and prevent unauthorized access. The guidelines, which take effect from May 1st, 2026, introduce strata controls on BVN management, particularly in areas such as phone number linkage, device usage, and identity verification. This development follows the recent cases of financial fraud, especially incidents involving SIM swaps and unauthorized account access, prompting regulators to tighten existing measures.
18 years and above are the ones that have the right to register for a BVN. That is number one. Number two is that all our phones are linked with BVN. At least we have a particular number that is linked with BVN. Oftentimes people change numbers without involving anybody. And there are also times when you have a particular network, you also have another network, and you are using your app on the two. Those are not going to be happening any longer. Number one is that your phone number that you have to link with the BVN can only be changed for once in your lifetime.
During an interview with BCOS News, a former banker and financial expert, Alhaji Abiola Ali, explained the new rules include limiting a phone number to a single BVN linkage, restricting mobile banking application to one device, and introducing clearer guidelines for BVN registration for persons under the age of 18. He noted that the policy is not intended to create panic among customers, but rather to enhance the safety of banking transactions. Alhaji Ali advised customers to update and secure their banking details ahead of the implementation date to avoid possible service disruptions.
What the Sweden has done is to take away the liability from the banks and to also let the customers know that as customers of the banks, they also have responsibility to be careful. It's not only the banks that are supposed to be careful. As customers of the banks, they have responsibility to also exercise carefulness in using their bank account.
While the policy is expected to reduce fraud and strengthen the digital banking systems, concerns remain about its potential impact on access, particularly for users already facing challenges related to network reliability and banking infrastructure.
The state government, in collaboration with Invictus Africa, has officially adopted the Gender-Responsive Education Budgeting and Spending Framework as part of efforts to promote inclusive, equitable, and quality education across the state. The document is designed to ensure that education budgeting and spending will adequately address the specific needs of children, particularly vulnerable boys and girls. Our reporter, Adiola Oladile, who attended the event, now reports.
Thank you for making it easy for us to be able to do this work. And this is just the beginning.
That was the unveiling and official adoption of the Gender Responsive Education Budgeting and Spending, GREPS, framework document. The GREPS project, implemented by Invictus Africa with support from the Malala Fund, is being carried out in Oyo and Gombe State to promote access to free, safe, and quality education through budgets that respond to specific needs of boys and girls. Presenting an overview of the framework, the Executive Director of Invictus Africa, Mrs. Bukola Shonibare, said although Oyo State has recorded progress in school enrollment, many children still struggle to remain and complete their education due to varying social and economic challenges. She explained that the framework is aimed at ensuring investment in education directly reach children who need them most, while strengthening existing government systems through evidence-based and gender-responsive budgeting.
Framework like this, moves budget from just being normal budget or being, gender blind, but to one that is sensitive and that is responsive to the issues. If boys are not going to school because they are now more into, let's say, internet fraud, it means that we have a problem that needs to be addressed. But these are not problems that just NGOs can address. The budget needs to show the priorities of government in addressing problems like that. So what we are saying is that the budget should be sensitive to this issue by having specific budget lines that address that problem of boys being into internet fraud and not going to school. The same with girls.
The Oyo State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Mr. Segun Olaiwola, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Bamidele Onyeloye, noted that the GREPS framework built on existing gender-responsive education sector plan and aligns with the vision of Governor Seyi Makinde to provide accessible and transformative education for sustainable development. According to him, the document is a roadmap for integrating gender considerations into education budgeting, implementation, and monitoring, while reaffirming the ministry's commitment to strengthening partnership and institutional capacity for effective implementation.
The purpose is to make sure that all learners have access to education. Not only that they stay throughout the school, and the learning outcome is something that can better their lot in life. They can go for higher education or acquire anything that can make them to be independent citizens.
Stakeholders, in their goodwill messages, stress the need for collective support and collaboration towards achieving the objectives of the framework in building a more inclusive and resilient education system that leaves no child behind in the state. Highlights of the event included presentation of GREP's commitment checks to ministries and the certification of GREP's fellows. Adiola Oladile, BCOS News.
A 100 kilovolts ampere solar inverter system has been commissioned at the National Polio Laboratories Virology Department of the University College Hospital, Ibadan, as part of efforts to strengthen laboratory capacity through clean, reliable, and renewable energy. The project is a collaboration between the National Polio Laboratories, the College of Medicine, University of Ibadan, the World Health Organization, eHealth Africa, the Gates Foundation, and other partners. Our reporter, Olubomi Lawal, was at the event and our reports.
Stable electricity supply remains critical to the effective functioning of educational and research institutions, particularly in the health sector, where precision and continuity are essential. To address persistent power challenges, the National Polio Laboratories at the Virology Department, College of Medicine, University of Ibadan, in partnership with the World Health Organization and eHealth Africa, initiated the solar energy project as a sustainable alternative. In a welcome address, the head of the Virology Department, Dr. Anyebe Onoja, described the project as a major step towards strengthening public health infrastructure and supporting the eradication of polio in Nigeria.
With this enhanced capacity, our ability to carry out critical laboratory functions has been significantly strengthened. In particular, our poliovirus isolation and sequencing capacity has been greatly enhanced, enabling timely, accurate, and high-quality surveillance and research outputs.
The Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academics, Professor Juwon Arotiba, reaffirmed the institution's commitment to supporting initiatives aimed at eradicating polio in Nigeria.
The university appreciates the staff of the Virology Department for their dedication and contribution to teaching and research in the university. And will continue to support the growth and achievement of the Virology Department because it is one of our star departments.
In a separate goodwill messages, the World Health Organization representative, Dr. Sachin Rewaria, the representative of the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Audu Idowu, who is also the incident manager at the National Emergency Operations Center, and the Oyo State Commissioner for Health, represented by Dr. Olufemi Akinyode, described the initiative as a testament to collective efforts towards polio eradication and improved public health outcomes.
This has been possible because of increase in number of campaigns, quality of campaigns, number of children vaccinated, and not to forget the reduction in the turnaround time of release of results that has been made possible by this lab.
With this solar system coming in with interrupted power supply, we are going to be able to have a very smooth operations, and that will give us a very good turnaround time of the lab system.
We express our profound gratitude for this impactful support. We want to assure our partners that Oyo State remains committed to maintaining and optimizing this facility. We will continue to invest in human capacity, infrastructure, and systems that ensure this laboratory operates at the highest standard This power system will not only support polio surveillance, but will also strengthen broader disease detection and response mechanisms across the state and beyond.
Other officials of the World Health Organization also highlighted the significance of the project in sustaining laboratory operations and enhancing disease surveillance.
This lab is the highest capacity lab in all the polio labs in the region. They are sequencing more than 60% of our polio isolates. And if we have to achieve polio eradication, then we need the lab. Not only is Ibadan benefiting, Borno State is benefiting, and in the future, neighboring countries like Niger and other countries around the region will be sending their samples to this lab.
The provost of the College of Medicine, Professor Temidayo Ogudinro, formally received the solar installation on behalf of the institution, expressing deep appreciation to the donors.
Affirm that this facility will be used and maintained to achieve its purpose of providing smooth energy to the end that the polio lab will fulfill its mandate of total eradication of polio worldwide.
A major highlight of the event was the official commissioning of the 100 kVA solar inverter system. Guests were also treated to a cultural performance, adding color to the occasion. Olubumi Lawal, BCOS News.
Another time out. Please stay with us.
My skin is my identity, my strength. It's unique and deserves care made specially for me. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow, enriched with 95% pure vitamin C and pulp extract. For visibly radiant and even-toned skin in just 2 weeks. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow, for your shade of beautiful.
When malaria knocks you down, you can be sure parasites are having a party in your system.
Welcome to our new kingdom, guys!
Comel, an effective weapon against malaria. Attacking the parasite army directly to give you express relief and get you back on your feet effectively. Comel on. Malaria gone.
Thank you for staying tuned. Returned pilgrims from the state who took part in the 2025-2026 Holy Land journey have been urged to sustain a life of gratitude, unity and service to humanity. These formed the focus of a Thanksgiving service held at the State Pilgrims Welfare Board Christian Wing, Total Garden, Ibadan. Staff reporter Adebayo Abdurofi was there to bring the details.
The Thanksgiving service brought together pilgrims who recently returned from Jerusalem and Jordan as they offered appreciation to God for a successful and impactful spiritual journey. Delivering a sermon, the Secretary General, Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Oyo State, Reverend Samuel Owolabi charged the pilgrims to remain grateful for the rare opportunity to visit biblical sites, describing the experience as a privilege that should reflect in their daily lives. The cleric encouraged them to serve as worthy ambassadors of Oyo State by promoting peace, unity, and harmony within their communities. He also urged the pilgrims to support government-led peace initiatives and contribute meaningfully to social stability across the state.
We just have to encourage them that the opportunity they have to travel to Holy Land is to come back with testimony. They've gone to see those things that were in the Bible that cannot be practically demonstrated openly, but they went to Jerusalem, and that they should be a good ambassador for your state, Nigeria, and they should continue to make sure that peace, relative peace, is ready in Oyo State. That they should support the governor of Oyo State to join hand with him in making sure that our state, the base center of Nigeria, Oyo State, is in harmony, is in peace.
In his remarks, the chairman, Oyo State Pilgrims Welfare Board, Christian Wing, Bishop Ademola Muradeyo, expressed deep gratitude to God for divine protection throughout the pilgrimage, especially as the group experienced moments of uncertainty during the outbreak of conflict in Israel. It described the experience as a wilderness journey, noting that the challenges strengthened their faith and deepened their spiritual growth.
My message to the pilgrims is that they should continue to be ambassador of the Lord Jesus Christ and a good ambassador of Oyo State. They have gone, they have come back, and they have to show to the mankind that they have a new life in Christ in them. And that's the message for them, to be good to others and to love their neighbor as they love themselves.
Also speaking, the Special Assistant to the Governor on Religious Affairs and Interfaith, Reverend Olufemi Bikunle, conveyed the appreciation of the state governor to the pilgrims for their prayers during the pilgrimage. He noted that the prayers offered contributed to sustaining peace and stability in Oyo State.
His Excellency asked me to thank all the pilgrimage to the Holy Land of 2025-2026 year. That the prayer they have offered unto God on behalf of Oyo State, they really appreciate them for the prayer, and they could see the impact of the prayer, and they could see the peace of God reigning in Oyo State. It is to showcase love, reflection of love, giving and prayers to humanities and service to the humanity.
Earlier, the chairman organizing committee of the Thanksgiving service, Pastor Biodun Pokuola, described the experience as frightening, recounting how they witnessed missile movements across the skies, hence the need to appreciate God's faithfulness.
We went and we came back safely because while we were there, war between Israel and Iran started. So we were hearing gunshot, missiles and all that over us. And they will ask us to go to the safest place in the hotel. So we will all rush there. And there are old women and old men amongst us. But it was fun because we'll be laughing because we know none of us will die. But thank God all of that we went through and we came back safely. Glory to God.
The pilgrims, among whom the executive assistant to the governor on administration, Reverend Idowu Ogedengbe, could not hid their joy as they danced and cut the Thanksgiving cake during the service. Adebayo Abdurafi, BCOS News.
Christians have been admonished to live lives that reflect the character and teachings of Jesus Christ at all times. The charge was given by the Diocesan Bishop of Ibadan, Church of Nigeria, Anglican Communion, the Most Reverend Joseph Akinfenwa, during a commendation service in honor of the late Chief Mrs. Grace Ebun Delano. Staff reporter Adebayo Abdurafi reports from the Cathedral of St. James, Okebola, Ibadan.
Delivering his message, the Most Reverend Joseph Akinfenwa described a true Christian as one who consistently demonstrates Christ-like character in all circumstances. He noted that the late Chief Mrs. Grace Ebun Delano lived a life of service to God and humanity, giving of herself willingly and selflessly. The cleric remarked that her passing on Good Friday, which also coincided with her wedding anniversary, was symbolic, adding that she finished well because she was not merely a churchgoer, but a committed follower of Christ. Quoting from the book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 21, the bishop emphasized that believers are pilgrims on earth, noting that death for a Christian is not an end, but a transition to eternal glory. Tributes were also paid by various groups, including the Young Women Christian Association, Sunday school teachers, members of the Cathedral of St. James, Okebola, as well as colleagues from the West African College of Nursing and other professional associates, who all attested to our impactful and exemplary life. Following the service, the remains of the deceased were moved to the house, where family members, staff, and mentees gathered to eulogize her legacy of service and mentorship.
Chief Mrs. Grace Ebundelano was a pioneer. She is a legend. She's a prolific writer and scholar.
It was our desire that Mama should make a last call to this place today, because this is where, at least in the last 30 years, she spent her energy to build people, to build institutions, and to ensure that the message of maternal health, maternal child health and family planning reaches every nook and cranny.
She was somebody I admire so much. She invested everything in her, in us. Made us to be proud of ourselves. Made us want to beat every odds and to overcome every barrier when we were building our career. When we didn't even know what exactly we were into, she made us to have a focus to define our career and to know why are we in the NGO sector.
My grandma was an amazing woman. It's my paternal grandmother, my father's mother, and she was inspiring. She was smart, she was capable, she lived in service, and it's an honor to be her granddaughter.
I wanted you to come here once more. I wanted to remember you in this building.
Rest in peace, Mama. We love you. We love you. There you go.
The body will subsequently be moved to Ifo in Ogun State for the continuation of the funeral rites. The life and times of late Chief Mrs. Grace Ebundelano remain a testament to dedication, faith, and selfless service to humanity. Adebayo Abdurafi, BCOS News.
May our gentle soul continue to rest in perfect peace. Over now to our sports desk.
The evening news. My name is Toby Ajewale.
Super Eagles head coach Eric Shell has landed in Nigeria to assess home-based players ahead of the upcoming international assignment. The Franco-Malian tactician is expected to watch at least 2 Nigeria Premier Football League MPFL matches as he evaluates players vying for national team selection. Shell has hinted that several MPFL stars could be invited to represent Nigeria in the upcoming Unity Cup in London. He believes watching the players in competitively action will give him a clearer picture of who deserves a place in the Super Eagles squad. The trip also forms part of preparations for the Championship of African Nations CHAN qualifiers, a tournament exclusively for players based in their domestic leagues. The 4-nation Unity Cup, featuring Nigeria, Jamaica, Zimbabwe, and India, is scheduled for May 26 to 30th, 2026 at the Valley, home of Charlton Athletic in South London. And in other football news, Chelsea winger Mikhailo Mudryk has filed an appeal with the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, against a 4-year ban imposed by the Football Association over a doping violation. The 25-year-old Ukraine international has been sidelined for nearly 18 months following an adverse finding on a routine urine test that triggered a provisional suspension in December 2024. He was handed the maximum 4-year ban in 2025. Mudryk is understood to have come in contact with the banned cardiovascular medication meldonium while on international duty with Ukraine in October 2024. He has always maintained his innocence, stating he never knowingly used any prohibited substance. His legal team, the same firm that defended Paul Pogba, Tyson Fury, and Chris Froome in their respective cases, is handling the appeal. Sources close to the player are hopeful it could return in action as early as next month, with the ban potentially backdated to December 2028 if upheld. CAS confirmed it received the appeal on February 25th, 2026, and that written submissions are currently being exchanged. A hearing date is yet to be scheduled. Mudryk has been keeping fit by training with non-league side Uxbridge Football Club. Chelsea and the FA have declined to comment on the ongoing case. Still in England, former England international Ashley Young has announced his retirement from professional football at the age of 40. The versatile defender, who began his career as a winger
enjoyed a distinguished 23-year career that took him from Watford to Aston Villa, Manchester United, Inter Milan, Everton, and finally Ipswich Town. Young won the Premier League, FA Cup, League Cup, and Europa League with Manchester United, and the Serie A title with Inter Milan. He earned 39 caps for England, scoring 7 goals. He is expected to feature in what could be his final match when Ipswich Town face Queen's Park Rangers on Saturday in their crucial championship promotion decider. And in Europe, Arsenal and Atletico Madrid shared the spoils in a dramatic first-leg Champions League semi-final that ended 1-0. Victor Gyökeres gave Arsenal the lead from the penalty spot just before halftime after he was fouled by David Hanko. Julian Alvarez equalized for Atletico early in the second half, also from a penalty following a VAR review after Marcos Llorente's shot struck Ben White's hand. Substitute Eberechi Eze appeared to have won Arsenal another penalty late on, but the decision was overturned by VAR. The tie remains finely balanced heading into the second leg at the Emirates Stadium next Tuesday. Finally, in sport news tonight from tennis, Britain's Jack Draper has been forced to withdraw from the remainder of the clay court season, including next month's French Open due to a persistent right knee injury. The 24-year-old, currently ranked 28th in the world, hopes to return for the grass court season in June, where he's expected to drop outside the top 100 after failing to defend ranking points from last year. Draper retired from his only clay court match this season in Barcelona due to a tendon issue and subsequently pulled out of the Madrid and Rome Masters. Draper plans to begin his grass court campaign at the Stuttgart Open on June 8, where he won the title 2 years ago before competing at the Queen's Club.
And that will be all. And it's back to news around the world. My name is Toby Ajwali.
Thank you, Toby. And now to foreign scene. Pakistan has opened 6 overland transit routes for goods destined for Iran, formalizing a road corridor through its territory as thousands of containers remain stranded at Karachi ports because of the United States blockade of Iranian ports and ships trying to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Foreign desk editor Folashade Akintola compiled the story and others as presented by Bimbo Akobi.
The Ministry of Commerce issued the Transit of Goods Through Territory of Pakistan Order 2026 on April 25, bringing it into immediate effect. The order allows goods originating from third countries to be transported through Pakistan and delivered to Iran by road. The announcement coincided with Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi's visit to Islamabad for talks with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Army Chief Asim Munir, the latest in a series of diplomatic engagements as Pakistan seeks to mediate an end to the 2-month war between Washington and Tehran. Federal Minister for Commerce Jam Kamal Khan described the initiative as a significant step towards promoting regional trade and enhancing Pakistan's role as a key trade corridor. The 6 designated routes link Pakistan's main ports, Karachi, Port Qasim, and Gwadar, with 2 Iranian border crossings, Gabd and Taftan, passing through Baluchistan via Tobat, Panjgor, Kuzda, Quetta, and Dalbandin. Pro-Palestinian activists say at least 22 boats from a flotilla carrying aid for Gaza have been intercepted by Israeli forces in international waters near the Greek island of Crete. The organizers of the Global Simud Flotilla denounced it as piracy. They said those on board the vessels had been seized unlawfully 965 kilometers from Gaza, which is under an Israeli naval blockade. The Israeli Foreign Ministry said about 175 activists from more than 20 boats had been detained and were being transported to Israel. It dismissed the flotilla as a PR stunt. GSF's tracking data showed that most of the remaining 36 boats in the flotilla were sailing close to Crete's southwestern coast. The flotilla set sail 2 weeks ago with a total of 58 vessels, joining from Spain, France, and Italy, aiming to break Israel's blockade of Gaza.
To end the news tonight, here again are the main points. The Supreme Court has vacated the order directing the African Democratic Congress ADC to maintain status quo ante bellum, pending the determination of its leadership crisis. In the meantime, the Supreme Court has voided the National Convention of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) held in Ibadan, Oyo State on November 15th and 16th, 2025, which produced a factional leadership led by Tanimu Turaki, SAN. President Bola Tinubu has nominated Joseph Tegbe as Minister of Power, subject to confirmation by the Senate, according to a statement signed by the President's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga. The Oyo State Police Command has commenced an investigation into an incident at Moniya in Ibadan, which led to the death of a motorcyclist and the destruction of a police facility, according to a statement by the Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Ayolade Olayinka. And on the foreign scene, Pakistan has opened 6 overland transit routes for goods destined for Iran, formalizing a road corridor through its territory as thousands of containers remain stranded at Karachi port because of the United States blockade of Iranian ports and ships trying to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Don't join hoodlums in threatening the peaceful coexistence of the country. It is only in an atmosphere of peace that development thrives. Thank you very much for watching the news around the world. Good evening.
Oluwa. 3 years of debt. Thank you for your 3 years of sacrificing.
I thought you have an interview today. Why are they shutting down the entire complex if it's just one company that crashed?
Alpha, did you hear about the golden bars thing?
Did they make a million or a zillion?
More like crashed out.
You will not believe who invested in golden bars. Sister, talk fast. Isa.
Isa, who be this? Isa, why police they find you?
Tell them, Mr. Tell them I did not steal the money. Tell them that you invested it.
You don't have the authority to arrest anyone, let alone hold someone here over a loan.
Wait now!
You should have seen the way they covered everywhere. They even broke the gate and then stormed the office.
No, don't pay my money complete.
When I catch the boy, let's get our money back.
Yes.
Before, my family can go 1 week without drama. 1 week, one wahala. Mama, brother, papa, sister, before. Any beef supposed to stay inside bottle.
Maggi Star is crafted from fermented soybeans, onions, chili flavor, and cloves in a way only Maggi knows.
Okay, now my Maggi make right. Come with piece of peace. Wanna come at all, before.
Maggi Star, making every meal special and special moments unforgettable.
Maggi, love, me and Maggi so good together. Me and Maggi so good together.
Today, April 30th, 2026, is the 88th posthumous birthday of my beloved father, mentor, Alanumi, Chief Michael Adeniyi Koliosho Babalaje of Shakiland. Happy birthday to a humanitarian, a philanthropist without equal, a giver without borders. You are a blessing to Shakiland. Okyogo in general will never forget your contribution. Chief Michael Adeniyi Koliosho, former secretary to the Oyo State government. The world at large will continue to remember your impact. Chief Michael Koliosho, 577 days have flown by since you returned to your heavenly home. You were the most amazing husband